Hello everyone, welcome to my 500 subscriber Q&A response video. So all you lovely guys in the last video posted a bunch of comments asking, in honor of me having 500 subscribers. So you guys, as I said, you guys posted a bunch of comments. So yeah, I'll go through them. I'll see if I'll try to hang on, newest. Yeah, here we go. I'll do them in the order they were posted. So we're starting off with the one and only Melbourne Train Guy, who says who has a few questions. Doesn't really matter on the number of questions. He says new routes or route extensions. Honestly, I know this is going to be a bit boring, Melbourne, but it's basically like it just depends on the route. Like if it's like some routes need extensions, like Nafwerk Dresden needed an extension, that extension was badly bodged and it shouldn't have been labelled as a whole new route. Southeastern High Speed, that route extension. Oh, I forgot I could route hop to Mainz Hauptbahnhof. Yeah. If you didn't know, we are at Link Rheinstrecke in the 1984 timetable by Trainsim Germany. So yeah. So Melbourne also says if you are trapped on a deserted island and could only play one TSW route for eternity, just that route with no layers, what would it be? I don't really know. Okay, I'm just gonna say, probably Preston to Carlisle. Because the default rolling stock that you get with the route is actually pretty substantial. And you get a ton of stuff to do. You've got express stuff, local stuff, freight, yeah, all that kind of thing. So, yeah, that's good. I think Preston to Carlisle is my answer. Melbourne, last question from Melbourne. What is the average airspeed of an unladen swallow? If you mean a swallow as in the bird, I assume 20 to 30 miles an hour. I'm not going to look it up, I'm just guessing. If it's a intercity swallow train, then 125 miles an hour because it's a HST. I'm just kidding. I'm going to assume you meant swallow the bird. Next question, Jeliminator asks why. That's the question, just why. My mum asks, thank you mum for putting in quite a few questions. What is your favourite route and why? At the moment, I'm going to say Preston to Carlisle because of the sheer variety, timetable variety and layers, quality of the rolling stock, and that kind of thing. Mum says, what is your favourite train that you've ridden in real life? I have to say, in real life would be the Hokuriku bullet train, E7/W7 series bullet train from Japan. That's my local bullet train, and that's my favourite. Mum also, last question from my mum. Would you ever change the livery of Dr. Yellow if you had the power to do so? Now, a quick thing for people who don't know what Dr. Yellow is. Dr. Yellow is the Japanese bullet train that is used as an inspection train. It originally started off as a 0 series. Now it was a 300 series for a long time. Now it's a 700 series, if I'm not mistaken. If I had the power to change the livery, no, I wouldn't change the livery. It's absolutely iconic as it is. Nearly got hit by that BR628 right there. Nice. Then Rex Tactics He says, first of all, congratulations on reaching 500 subscribers. Thank you very much. What is your favorite... He's got 3 questions. What is your favorite version of Train Sim World and why? I'd have to say... Favorite version of Train Sim World, I'd have to say... probably 6, despite the issues it's had. Because... each version just keeps getting better with all the new stuff that they introduced, like TSW4 had dynamic suspension, TSW5 had the new track shadows and guard mode, and TSW6 has random faults and announcements. So, yeah, I'm going to say 6 simply because each version gets new features on top of the ones that we already had. Rex says, if you were to travel on the UK railways, what train company would you most look forward to travelling with? It's actually a tie, and it's both of them are ones I've ridden on in real life. Let's just wait for this train to go by because it's going to be pretty loud. Ooh, I forgot the Silberlinge Endwagens could substitute in onto this timetable if you had the Mittenwaldbahn. Anyway, enough distraction. Train operating company, yes. I'd have to say it's a tie between GWR, because they're the ones I use most often because of where my grandparents live, and also Transport for London, because one of my favourite metro lines in the world is the Elizabeth line. Travel on it quite a bit, and I really do like it. So, number 3 question from Rex says, what video took you the longest to make ever on your channel? Ooh, that's an interesting one. I think it's my top 10 Train Sim World 5 routes I made back in February of this year. That's basically, that took me like, how long did that take me? That took me like a week of working in my spare time to put all the materials for that together, to think of everything. Yeah. Ooh, BR194 Crocodile. Nice. Very nice. Anyway. And then Rex says, here is to 500 more. Thank you very much, Rex. Hopefully, if you ever do a Q&A, Rex, I know you're getting close to 500 subscribers. I hope to go on a Q&A do it post a question on your channel. My dad asks, which route is the most realistic or well-made? That is quite a difficult question because a lot of people will disagree as to which route is the most realistic, because of like it's just like realistic is just a measure, is just not really like a solid measure, like people disagree. For me personally, if I'm actually, yeah, I'd have to say Preston to Carlisle again. I am slightly biased because it's my favorite route, but I think that has the most amount of detail put in it. Probably the Mittenwaldbahn, also by Train Sim Germany, comes pretty dang close. Ironically, neither of those are modern image routes, which is pretty funny. Grumpy Englishman asks, how did you end up in Japan? It's a bit of a long story. My dad was an English teacher here back in the 1990s, so we came back here mainly for his work, and we've stayed here ever since. It's been, as I never fail to advertise, it's been 11 years at this point. Mirage Pensam asks, why do you find sitting in a fake train doing basically nothing entertaining? I could ask why you find Fortnite entertaining, Mr. Mirage. Like, different people enjoy different things, and this is what I enjoy, so there you go. Some people enjoy Bus Simulator, for instance. I don't really enjoy Bus Simulator. Oh goodness, there we go. Ed asks, more IRL videos someday. Yes, I am planning to do quite a few more. However, it is getting into winter here, so it might, depending on weather conditions, basically. Which is, I know, a disappointingly qualified answer, but it just is what it is. And then last question from Mega Simulator Gamer. Trains or planes, you can only pick one and never play a game to do with the other. I would say trains. Yeah, I'd say trains. 100%. Mega also says, if Dovetail offered you an ambassadorial role, would you take it? No. And I know a lot of people would be like, well, you get all the DLCs for free. Why wouldn't you leap at that offer if Dovetail gave it to you? And I'm like, I'm not interested in all the stuff Dovetail or third parties release. Like, for example, the Thomas and Friends 80th Anniversary Expansion Pack. I'm not interested in that. And also because ambassadors are limited. Like, contractually limited. With what they can say. They can only constructively criticize stuff. Wonder where he's going. Oh, doesn't say. It's just an AI. Oh well. Anyway, ambassadors. Ambassadors can only constructively criticize add-ons. And I know, like, some people are like, okay, that means you can criticize stuff. No, you can't. If there's something which is negative, you can't really criticize it. Like, you can say how it can be fixed, but you can't really say anything negative about it without violating your contract. And I think that's just bonkers, frankly. And plus the ambassadors tend to look down on non-ambassadors. Not all the ambassadors, but some of them definitely tend to look down on the ambassadors. I'm not saying who, because I don't want everyone to instantly click off this video, but yeah. I've heard things, let's just say. Mega also asks, Train Sim World or Train Sim Classic? Train Sim World any day of the week, despite the fact Train Sim Classic has a much bigger variety of stuff. Like, for example, right now, I'm walking around a station. In Train Sim Classic, you can't do that. You also can't spawn at stations. There's no timetable mode. And I just regard Train Sim Classic to be incredibly limited, and don't really regard it as something. Yeah. I am, and this is the first time I'm saying this, ending on phasing Train Sim Classic out of my channel. The reason for that is because it's just so incredibly limited, and with the add-ons I've got, there's just not a lot I can continue to do. The cycle would just start getting incredibly repetitive, and I don't want to do that. Mega asks, ScotRail or East Midlands trains, Class 158. I assume you mean in TSW. I'd have to say East Midlands trains, because I prefer delivery. 2, it just shows up in far more places than the ScotRail one does. Mind you, I'm not hating on the ScotRail version. I like the ScotRail version. I think it's a great add-on. But yeah, that's my answer. Mega asks, HST or Class or Hitachi IET. Having ridden on a Hitachi IET in real life, I've never ridden on an HST. I rode on an Elenion Class 800 back in June from York to King's Cross. But despite that, I'd have to say HST, simply because they're more iconic and have more character. And also, the HST that I'm thinking specifically of is 43002 Sir Kenneth Grange. Like, that's my favorite. That's one of my favorite UK trains ever built. Like, second only to the Class 86 for me. And then final question of the day. What UK train operating companies have you traveled with? This question is from Megasim Gamer. I would say, okay, I'm going to have to think about this. GWR, Transport for London for the Underground and Elizabeth Line. I don't think I've ever gone on the Underground or Docklands Light Rail. And I've certainly never been on that ridiculous Greenwich cable car that goes over the Thames, though that technically is operated by TfL. Let's see. So GWR, TfL, LNER, Grand Central. I have ridden on the Grand Central Class 180, which is a asset pokey up through the ground. Classic. Yeah, so... And I've also been on a couple of heritage railways. Like, I've been to the Didcot Railway Centre, and I believe I've been to another one near Prince's Risborough that I can't remember the name of it. So yeah, I think that's all the train operating companies I've ridden on. Yeah, so... Oh goodness, I don't know why it's stuttering like this. There we go. So yeah, that's all the questions. I think I'll do another Q&A when I hit 1,000 subs, so hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. And I will see you all in the next video. Goodbye, and thank you so much for watching.